What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Day Trading Show. We've got a special guest back for his second appearance. Tom is here to talk about how he has transitioned out of his 9-to-5 job into full-time trading. So sit back and enjoy. All right, everybody, welcome back. We appreciate you being here. So for this episode, we're going to talk to Tom, bringing him back for round two. We're going to talk specifically about how he has transitioned out of his 9-to-5 job over a 2-month period of time. We'll talk a little bit about that, Tom. How he's gone from working and trading to now really focused in on his trading. Still doing some other entrepreneurial things with his sports betting and all that stuff. If you guys saw the first time Tom was on the show, he kind of told us a little bit about his background and how he got into gambling, sports, and trading and the whole thing. So we're not going to rehash that. I want to talk, like I said, more about this transition that you've been going through because you are the most recent member of ASFX who has now gone full time. So first, again, I've said it 10 times, but congrats, Tom. How do you feel now that you have so much free time to focus in on your trading? Are you excited? Are you nervous? What are you feeling?
So mixed emotions, I think, at the minute. Obviously, clearly very excited. There's an element of nervousness in there. It's completely different change to what I've been used to for the last sort of 12 years in my professional career. So I think just going to find that transition period, get into that new routine. It's very strange not having to be at the desk. Like I've been glued to it for, like I say, the last few years. So that having that, the ability to not be glued to the desk is very new, very weird. It's going to take a bit of transitioning, but I'm really excited to see what the next chapter brings.
It is definitely exciting. That's the best word to describe it. And I can relate to what you're saying about the transitioning into different routines. James is fortunate where I think, James, you've never really had another job while you've been trading, right? You went from sports to right into this, from rugby right into this. I was working with that firm in New York City, and they had me up at 4 a.m. to start the trading at 5 a.m. And I had this whole routine where I had to be glued at the desk. And I found myself for months, Tom, after that, still like getting caught in that routine that was no longer needed, no longer structured, no longer there at all. I would still fall back into that pattern. So are you giving a lot of effort, I guess, in your journaling and in your weekend prep for the week to really have a strict routine, or are you more going with the flow, kind of trying to still figure it out where you fit best and how many hours you should be giving to the desk? Because the do less, do it better, do it bigger thing really applies, right? Like we don't want to be glued at the desk 15 hours. You would have stayed working that job if that's what you wanted to do, right?
Yeah. So at the minute, I think I'm just feeling my way around. I probably could be better at saying, right, 8 till 11, I'm trading. 11 till 1, I'm off on the bike or I'm walking the dog, getting some lunch, and then back for the US session. So I definitely need to find out how I can get that break in the middle. That's where I'm thinking. Hopefully London session open, New York session open, and then obviously everything else related to trading. Now I've got a lot more free time, can be back testing, journaling at night, working on the other projects, etc., in the evenings, which I'm looking forward to. So I think I've got an idea, just feeling it out for now on how we can make that a little bit more strict.
What hours are you thinking you want to lean into? Because as we've been doing more testing and stuff like that with this new A2 strategy plus ASFX TV, I feel like there's a lot of opportunity. Like you guys, especially both of you, you can trade the London session and then take a break and then do the New York session. Whereas for me, I kind of either got to wake up early or just kind of catch the end of the London session, take a little break, and then do the main New York session. And then I'm taking my break. I've really stopped trading at 12 o'clock New York time. So in that bigger picture, James, you're taking breaks now as well, right?
Yeah. So Tom and I have obviously been speaking, and that was, you were right. I haven't worked a 9-to-5 before in my life. So I've obviously finished my rugby, then finished my degree, and then straight into
That's why you're a
trading.
skunk, bro. That's why you're a skunk.
So I think it is. I think once you taste freedom, this is going to be hard for Tom or anybody once they go full time and then try to go back. Once you taste freedom, you don't want to start working 9-to-5 again.
No.
But yeah, I have been taking breaks in between. So I get up, I'm trading from about 8 to 12 South African time, so 8 in the morning to 12, and then I'm taking a break until about 2:45, which the New York Stock Exchange opens up at 3:30. So I'm taking that break, and I feel that, like Tom and I have been speaking about that as well. And I wrote in my weekly review last week that time off the desk is essential, because essentially we get into trading and I know Tom is the same too, own your time, and you don't want to be glued at the desk for 10 hours a day when it's unnecessary. I think you got to find your sweet spot. And I think that's where Tom's, he's working it out now. I think my sweet spot's around like 6 to 7 hours max on the desk a day. Otherwise I start getting fidgety. I start losing focus, just because naturally my concentration levels aren't the best as well. So yeah, I think, you start to find quite nice things. It's completely different to when Tom was trading with us and working full time, because sometimes you would have to say, oh, I've got to get on a call or whatever. So that's cool, because now you can use those times to what he's been doing has been journaling and back testing, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that's really cool.
Or be doing the stuff off the desk, like that helps keep you mentally sane.
Yeah. Gymming, spending time with family, friends.
Yep. The golf, the whole thing, whatever it is. So Tom, for guys that are listening to this and wanting to eventually go full time, I don't want to really talk about like the idea of like needing other entrepreneurial or having other entrepreneurial businesses. Let's just focus more on the trading. If you could speak to them a little bit and say like, this is the one thing I would focus most on. Is there a one thing, or is it so multifaceted that it's hard to pinpoint one thing to focus on to get to that point?
I certainly couldn't pinpoint it to one specific thing. I think going through the journey that I have, there are, depending on where you are in your journey, there are so many different things that you need to conquer and get over. But for me, I think there's two. And one is to speed up the journey, or to make it easier or more enjoyable or more fun, is get involved in a community or find a mentor, because without them, I think it would have taken me 3-4 times longer. And I don't think it's a performance sport. And as we know, you get paid for how well you perform in this game, and you can still do everything absolutely right and still not get paid at the end of the month, which is another story altogether. But nobody at the pinnacle of the sport or business is without coaches or a community around them. Nobody, not one person did it all on their own. If you can show me one professional athlete, one CEO who got to the top single-handedly by themselves, then point them out to me, because I can't name a single one. So that definitely has a huge impact. And then for me, I think the turning point was having a plan. So like a rules-based strategy, but then everything else that goes with it. So your risk management, your position sizing, your trading off the desk, how you're going to improve, your journaling, just taking it seriously. I think there's a big difference between treating it as a hobby and treating it like a business. And I think they were probably the two big changing points for me in my trading over the last 2 years, I'd say.
I totally agree with both of them, and I'm going to allow you to pick two instead of one. That's fine. The comment you made about the performance sport and having like for all of us, athletics is a very direct comparison. There is no one who's ever made it to any level of success, even being good in high school, without a good coach. You know what I mean? And I think it's the little things. And I can give a good golf analogy that you guys will probably get. When I first learned how to play golf, my shots would always slice to the right. I had no idea that the reason that was happening was my wrists were spinning as I was coming down. So I was rolling my wrist as I would come down, right? And that was causing it to slice. All it took was someone that knew what they were doing with golf to tell me, hey, stop rolling your wrists. Keep the wrist locked. It won't slice. And stop trying to kill it, and it'll go straight. It doesn't even need to be a golf pro. Just a little bit of coaching from my dad, from whoever, the guy hitting balls at the range next to me. That little bit of coaching makes a big difference, So I think it's like being open-minded to being coached even is more the point that you're saying, Tom, not just join a community. You can't just join a community and think you're just going to suck on my nipple and get all the free trades. It ain't happening. It's not happening in anywhere. I think the better idea is join a community, get involved, put in a lot of effort, and learn as much as you can. Be coached, And it's funny, like I have a buddy of mine who he probably will listen to this. He's out of all my friends around here, one of the only guys that's like, yo, I want to follow what you're doing with trading. Like I have friends that have other businesses, and some people, like, they don't talk to me really about trading. They're just not in this business. But my buddy, he's like, yo, I know how important it is to be coached. I've made that mistake not being coached for too long before. So I don't want to do that anymore. And it's so refreshing to hear people like yourself and like him say things like that, because that's the turn for me as well. I think all of us have had that turn of like, yo, I can't do this on my own. Let me just let me get some help here,
Yeah. I think also, I just want to chip in as well. I think also a big thing of,
good golf analogy there. The chip in, bro. Chip in.
Yeah. Good pun. But just with, when it comes to, the listeners that are listening, just because Tom's going full time, it didn't just happen overnight. Also, I think the big thing with going full time trading is you can't go into full time trading being undercapitalized. You're just going to put pressure on yourself, because now you're not getting a monthly set income. It's depending on your performance, how much you make per month, on how much capital you have. So just because you start making 5-10% a month, it doesn't mean you can just automatically go start full-time trading. You need to have the capital behind you, and I would say at least a solid year of consistent results before you even think about going into that full-time trading. What was the turning point for you, Tom, when you decided, okay, cool, I can look to sign in my resignation and I'm keen to go to do this?
So it was probably in the pipeline for a while. I'd not enjoyed my job for a long time. And for me, it was all about making sure I was financially ready, like you had said. So not just from a capital to trade with perspective, but a financial situation personally, to make sure that all finances were in a reasonable position. Probably got 12 to 24 months of living expenses. So in case you don't make a penny for the next year, which is more than capable of doing, especially starting out, I imagine there's going to be, there definitely is a lot more challenges psychologically to being full-time as a trader to overcome. So I was definitely aware of some performance that may slip because of that. So yeah, just making sure that personal finances were in order as well. Before taking that jump. I think that's really important, because takes a little bit of pressure off.
Why did it take you 2 months to leave the job? I wanted to talk about that for a second.
3 months. So I had to give 3 months resignation, 3 months notice.
Was that because of the role that you had, or what was the reason for that?
Yeah, just because of the role that I had. It took a while to get a proper person in. There was some vacancies that needed filling. I had to do a comprehensive handover. And because of the length of time that I'd been at the business.
No, makes sense. I think that people, I've had friends that have rushed to quit their job and go like literally 2 weeks. Like, I'm leaving my job in 2 weeks. I'm going all in on trading. I think you went about it at such a slow pace. It wasn't like this overexciting thing that caused you to trade poorly. You went at it with like this 3-month window of transition that caused you to like have time to trade, but also still be kind of distracted. Like, it was actually, in hindsight, it kind of looks like it was a good transition window. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think it was definitely.
You're like, yeah, from the outside, because you weren't doing all the work talking to my company that I didn't want to work for anymore.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, but no, I think it gave me a nice amount of time to get things in position, get things sorted from a personal perspective. I think there's a lot of things that you're probably not aware of, I suppose, or certainly I was probably a little bit naive to all the work that needs to be done, all the things in the back, setting up businesses, etc., whatever it may be. It's completely different. I'm now learning so many new skills, and having worked in a huge global corporation where you just delegate and hand things off to other people to sort, you don't have that option when you are setting up on your own or going for it solo. So yeah, I wanted to make sure I gave myself a nice transition period to get all of that admin side of things done, basically.
Nice. Yep. No, that makes sense. And look, it's really never easy. No matter what stage you're at in the entrepreneurial journey of like just betting on yourself, it's never easy. If anything, it's the easiest in the beginning when there's no responsibilities, you're not successful, there's nothing to live up to, there's no reputation, there's nothing. That's the easiest part, because you can lose, you can F up and it doesn't matter. But once you establish yourself as an entrepreneur, and I would say like James and myself have, it it becomes a different battle almost mentally of like, it's you versus yourself, this internal pressure. And like we said, it's a performance sport. Through trading, we have to show up and perform every day, which means you have to do the things that you need to do. For each person, it's different, to be your best, whether it's gym, sauna, golf, family time, whatever, reading, whatever. You have to do all these things. And some of those activities don't warrant financial return instantly. So it's a whole different perspective versus sit down, just get paid. You have to like go do all these other things for your life to build this good looking picture to then try to perform your best. And then if you do perform well, you'll get paid and you'll make money. It's like playing soccer. You know what I mean? If Ronaldo doesn't warm up and he pulls his hamstring and everything goes to shit and they lose the game, it's like there's no preparation in that. Versus if you're doing these other things to get yourself ready to perform, you warm up, you stretch, you do the right stuff, you avoid as much of those potential mess-ups as possible. And you put probabilities in your favor, because it's never going to be easy. I think that's my point. You know, like for any entrepreneur, whether it's a full-time trader and that person just trades and works at a prop firm and is funded and does that, or if they have other businesses too. Businesses move in waves. Nothing moves in a straight line. Nothing, you know? So I think now the perspective, Tom, for you, is it changing into more of like a capital preservation mindset versus a growth mindset? How are you balancing growing and preserving at the same time? That's a good question, right?
Yeah. So I think you trade with me on a daily basis. I think I would definitely say I'm more conservative than aggressive in my trading style. I would say I don't take too many trades. I certainly don't oversize anymore too much because I can't.
Right.
So yeah, I think for me it's about survival now. I just want to survive. I want to get through the first year, whether I make a few pennies, make thousands, make 6-7 figures. I don't mind. I just want to survive. That's my key aim for the first year, is to still be here in a year's time.
Yeah.
I know I'm still in my apprentice period, I would say, as a trader,
coming out of it.
Yeah, to a degree. I think we're always students of the game. But when you look at these people that are in 30, 40 years and they are still making mistakes and still doing the same dumb things that we all do, but just less of frequently. So I definitely think there's still a learning curve, which, like I say, is evolving every month, really, as we go through and continue on this journey. One of the things that I'm trying to wrap my head around is, at the minute, and it'll be great to get both of your opinions on this, is when I'm not at the desk, or when I'm at the desk, I feel like if I move away from the desk and go and do them things that, like you said, your reading, your gym, your sauna, your book, your boating, whatever it may be, I'm in this mindset now of, because I've had to be glued to the desk, like if I lose the desk, I'm potentially going to lose opportunities. But by staying at the desk, I'm being really detrimental to my psychology, because I've been there for 8 hours. I know I get myself into trouble because I want to overtrade, or I'll wait and see if something steps up. And then if I don't take anything, I feel like, I've sat here for 7 hours. I've not done anything. I've not made any money. Let's find something and try and make some money. So that's the kind of battle I'm going on. So I'd love to get both of your opinions on how you've tried to combat that and got into the routine of stepping away from the desk. I need to get away. I need to do my exercise. I need to do my books for the better of my trading business.
I got it first, James. I got an answer.
Okay.
I'll be short.
Okay.
I hate going out in public when it's crowded. So working out at 12 o'clock and leaving the house at 12 o'clock is fucking amazing for me. So I love that. So that's part of the reason I leave at 12 o'clock. It just works out perfect that Forex markets and things slow up normally. Bitcoin and indices, we could trade in the afternoon. But then to the bigger point, that was my funny joke. The bigger point is I have my hours. You know what I'm saying? It's in my trading plan every day. If there's opportunities in those hours, those are mine to take, like today's trade. I need to take those trades that show up in my hours. But beyond that, I have to go do these other things so I don't lose my mind and stop trading forever. Because if I burn myself out, that's what I will do. And I'll go be a DJ again, and I'll never trade again for 5 years, and I'll burn out. That's my personality. So I think you set this, and this goes back to what we said at the beginning. You have those hours. I do this, I take a break, I do this. Just have those hours, and that's it. Nothing else can be taken outside those hours. You can manage trades outside those hours, but outside of that, get out of here. Just get off. What do you think, James?
Yeah. So I think for me, I've lost too much money trading outside of my hours, right? And it's just mentally taxing on yourself as a trader and as an individual, because now you're going into family time and that being annoyed of yourself because you're trading outside of your hours. And I like to bring in this thing as well, you and Tom and all of them, when sometimes late in the New York session, you guys on the live chat in the Black Shirt Club room and you're like, yo, James is out living his best life off socials, playing golf.
It's the truth,
and stuff
bro.
Like that. But it's like I take my snag and bag and I'm like, yo, I'm done. I'm out here. I'm done. I'm out here. Like, let me just chill, come back the next day, rinse and repeat.
But look at what that did too. Sorry, Tom. It just spawned this whole fucking conversation all week about everybody talking about, are we going to take profits at 1R, 60%, 90%? Yeah. So James, your whole thing has inspired everybody too, because if you're aligning with preservation, like Tom said, survival, if you can win 6 out of 10 trades at 1R, you survive. You do actually more than that. You actually make money. So it really just comes down to like, what are you here to do, Tom? Are you here now to be a full-time trader? Or are you just here to make money trading? You're here to make money trading. Full-time trading, like we said before, is a joke. It's an illusion. Because if you're stuck at the desk 9 to 5, you did not win life. You lost. The goal is to get off the desk, get out and be able to go to the gym at 12 o'clock, go to a sauna appointment at 2 p.m. for no reason, like do whatever, and then avoid the rat race of everybody else. And you can see it. They all go to work at 9. They come home at 5. That's why I don't go out at those times. So I think the goal for you, Tom, and for all of us is now not to trade a lot. I don't care how much I really trade. I could spend a lot of time back testing and doing that shit, but actually trading, it's not that important to me if that's 2 hours or 4 hours. How much do I need to give to make money? I just want to do the least amount of time for that.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Tom, before I spoke? In response to our answers, because you said you wanted both of our answers to that idea of how do you know when to get off and deal with that?
Yeah, no, I appreciate both answers. And I was like, me and James probably have more similar trading hours, having been on the desk from the early morning and then for the London. So, because I just wondered how you got to that stage, James, because now this week I've heard your alarm go off a couple of times at 11 o'clock and you're like, shit, I need to get off the desk. Yeah. So I was like, for you to still have to set the alarm, is that something you've always done? Or have you, like you say, because of the journaling or the statistics or the data you've collected, like, that you've lost money in between that period by staying on the desk?
I think I've always had that about getting off the desk now, but now I'm actually being more conscious of it and actually setting alarms to just remind me and be like, because sometimes when you're on the desk, you lose track of time. You're so focused, you're trying to be dialed in. And then, so I've just started setting alarms now. Yeah, this week you heard my alarm go off a couple of days to say, listen, it's time to get off. But I think I'm just being more conscious of it because, like, as I said, you lose track of time, and that's my time to go to gym and just relax. So I think, just being conscious of it as well. When things are going well, when things are going bad, you just got to make sure that that's your time. Get off the desk, go relax, come back for the New York session.
One other thing I want to turn the conversation to, self-belief. Like, I think we don't speak about it enough, probably, how much confidence you need to have to be able to go and say, I'm going to leave my job and go all in on myself. That's what it is. It's going all in on yourself. No one is just going to be a trader. I have other things that I do to make money. Tom has other things. Like, we all have other ways to make money, right? Even if you want to consider coaching traders another way, even though it's still trading, like, it's still another way of making money. So I think going all in on yourself, betting on yourself, being entrepreneurial takes a lot of self-belief. And I think it also, people don't talk about this enough, just reminders of self-belief. You could have all that self-belief on day 1, but are you going to have all that self-belief on day 67? Day 607? You know what I'm saying? So do you guys want to speak to that a little bit about, like, instilling and keeping self-belief alive, maybe?
Yeah, I can go first. I think there's a big difference also between self-belief and arrogance or cockiness as well. I think there's a big difference. It's like a fine line. But I think when you really have that self-belief, like I 100% believe in myself, and I know what I'm capable of in my statistics, and my statistics back that up. So I know what I can do at the desk every single day, but you don't need to be going and telling everyone. You can tell the close couple of people that you work with, like, like I had a good day or whatever like that. But I think you have to, the thing, as you mentioned, like you can have self-belief for one day or 1 week, but can you do it after you've had a negative month or a negative 2 weeks in a row or 3 weeks in a row? Then that's where the key comes in. And then just those, I like the way where you say about reminders. I like to read books. I like to go over my past statistics, because if you've done it once, you can do it again. There's no reason why you can't do it again if you've done it once in the past. So I think for me, I like reading motivational books, like Tim Grover books, Mark Minervini's books, of his mindset secrets for winning, just stuff like that keeps you inspired. And as I said, if you've done it once before, you can do it again.
Great answer. Tom, anything you'd like to add to that?
I think James definitely hit the nail on the head with the first part, in the fact that I think there's a really fine line between self-belief and ego and arrogance, as James said. I wouldn't like to be put on the spot to describe the difference between the two.
I could give you something. Confidence and self-belief come from facts, data, no opinions, facts. Cockiness and arrogance is me saying I'm a great trader with no data to back it up. Confidence and self-belief is like, I have 700 trades that go into this trading system that show it's profitable. I'm going to trade this. I think that's a simple way to define the difference. I
agree.
Yeah. So I think you really find out who you are when your back's up against the wall as well. Yes. I know for me, I like the pressure. I like being under pressure. I feel like I perform my best when there's something on the line as well. There's more on the line now than ever. So we'll really see if that stands true.
Right. Reward driven, like goal oriented, focused on that. Yeah.
Being a gambler, a past gambler, or still a gambler, I think a lot in probabilities. And I feel like I'm pretty good at managing risk or having risk reward.
For sure.
And in the transition from going to full time and working at my job, I felt like, does this pay off more times than not? If it does, then I should take it. Or are the rewards at the end of it worth taking that risk? And I felt that now was the sort of the perfect time for that. So I think you have to have certain self-belief to make them sort of decisions and leaps. But like you say, are they still going to be there in 2 years down the line when you've not made a penny and things like that? But I think you've got to take the initial jump.
You have to have that self-belief to take the jump, but you can you're back to your 2 points of what everyone listening should do if they want to eventually be in a position like one of the three of us. What was the first thing you said? Find a community. If you're around good people, I boost you up. You boost me up. Like we push each other to still have the self-belief. When you do something stupid, I always remind you, this is not a reflection of who you are. This is one data point. This is not the end of the world. This is not you, right? So it's having those people around you, like you said, in your community to keep you in the right state of mind, which is not ignorant, not egotistical, but believing in yourself, confidence in yourself, self-confidence. I think that it's like someone listening to this, a younger version of me listening to this podcast to the end of the episode here, they're going to think, why didn't they tell me anything of technical analysis of how to become a full-time trader? Why didn't they tell me what entry signal to take? But now having traded 6 years, I mean, together, all of us have combined over 10 years experience. It's very clear to see that it is the psychological stuff that will hold you back from being the best trader you could be. The technical stuff is easy. Watch the course. You'll understand that. Will you have the self-belief? Will you have the risk perspective in line properly? Will you be positioned correctly? All these other things that are more psychological that I think you have to build strength in to then get to the point of where you're at now, Tom, which is I'm confident in my strengths that I've built in these characteristics of myself. And now I'm going to bet on myself and go all in. And it's an exciting thing, bro. So I think, I
wanted to say, I just wanted to chip in quickly. I think, where did Tom go?
Oh, right at the end here. I think we just lagged him out. It's all right. What were you going to say?
Okay. I was just going to say,
He'll pop back in.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say, I think the one thing that gives me self-belief and even me confidence in you and Tom is the fact that we all relatively young.
Yeah.
We still have plenty of years to go in this journey of trading. I mean, this is my 4th year trading.
Right.
This is your 6th year trading. Tom's probably, I think, 3rd year trading.
Right.
So I think we're still relatively new in this career. Imagine where we're going to be when I'm 40 years old and you're 45 and Tom's 50. You know what I'm saying?
100%, bro. 100%.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we wrap it up, bro? Since Tom, our guest, has made a magical disappearance. He's been having those weird internet issues where it just drops off occasionally. But it was good. We still got him for the value. I think we still got a good episode here, so I'm happy with it. Technology,
100%.
people. You guys know we're real people. We're just dealing with it here. It's Zoom. Come on. Short Zoom. Don't buy Zoom right now.
Zoom stock's down too, so that's
there you go. That's why. So for everybody listening, watching, we appreciate you guys always. We hope you're enjoying the day trading show. Drop a comment. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button if you're watching on YouTube. Let us know what you think. We always want to talk with you guys in the comments. And Tom, congratulations again. And everybody, we'll see you in the next episode.